Meeple Nation Podcast, episode 346, Gift Giving Guide 2020.
Welcome, citizens of Meeple Nation. For the next 30 minutes, sit back and enjoy.
Meeple Nation Podcast is sponsored by GameToppersLLC.com. You want a good gift idea? Give the gift of a Game Topper. Go to their website, GameToppersLLC.com. Check them out for the gamer in your life.
If you give a Game Topper, you will be loved forever, I think. That is like the ultimate gift.
That would be amazing to receive a Game Topper.
We are the hosts of Meeple Nation. I am Logan Howard.
I am Andy Holliday.
I am Nathan Howard.
And I'm Dave Holliday. This week, we are discussing our gift-giving guide for the year 2020. We started a couple years ago doing a gift-giving guide, giving ideas of gifts around gaming that you can give. Maybe you want to introduce somebody to gaming. Maybe you have a gamer that loves games as much as you do. Some of our ideas that would make great games.
And make great gifts.
That would make great gifts.
Because they're already great games.
Yes.
Well, most of them.
Well, we don't really suggest bad games for gifts.
By most of them, I meant not everything is a game on our list here. So, Logan, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, sure. So I broke my suggestions down into a couple different categories. So the first category I had was an easy, accessible game that you can give to a non-board game player or to a board game player that would include non-board game people. And that's Cockroach Poker. We've mentioned it a few times. It's a blast. I love this game. On Amazon, it's $13. It's still available. It's easily accessible, like I said. Awesome choice for a gift for somebody. And then my next suggestion I had was, it's what Nathan was alluding to, that not all of our suggestions are board games. I was thinking of what somebody could gift a board game player.
For the board game player in their life?
Yeah, that's an upgrade. That was something really nice. And this is actually an idea I had from going and being able to go play with Andy and his Mycroft. He has the upgrade himself as just metal coins. So on Amazon, just looking it up, it's about $30 and it's a metal coin upgrade. Has coins for 1, 5, and 10. Oftentimes in board games, they just have these little cardboard cutouts for the money. But if you have these metal upgrades, so much nicer. It makes a lot of difference. For not a ton of money, can give them an upgrade for a lot of their different games. So I thought it'd be something really nice.
I don't know what it is, but to me, it does. It improves my game night, right? Like having the feel, just having that extra tactile experience, it adds. And it's something cool to play with.
It's very nice to play with. That's why we don't have them on the table when we record.
Yes.
And another one that it's more geared towards board gamers. If they don't have it, non-board game players can get sucked into playing is Quacks of Quedlinburg. It is a classic game. Hasn't been out that long, so I don't know why I say classic, but it is just a clean-cut game, super fun. Press your luck. I always have a blast when I sit down and play it.
That's a game that I think people that are not gamers can really enjoy. I have some aunts that I would never ever classify them as gamers, and they love that game.
Yep.
An incredible game, very accessible. My daughter Amara is probably her favorite game. She loves it.
I think games that include that pressure luck element just chime to a large variety of people. It has that pressure luck, also much more immersive, has a deeper theme. Quacks of Quedlinburg is a great suggestion.
That's what I like it so much, is that as I'm getting more into types of games, why I like them and don't, theme actually makes a big difference sometimes. If it's an okay game with a good theme, it becomes a good game for me. Quacks, I think, is so great because the theme is like so interwoven / not there if you don't need it. It's such a great balance. If you're just looking for the press your luck, you're just looking for your press your luck. But like the stirring the potion and adding the mandrakes, it's awesome.
Great. You should have added that to our Halloween game.
Totally.
Your Witch's Brew, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Quacks of Quedlinburg, somebody in your life already has that. You can go to the BGG Geek Store. They have some nice upgrade pieces that you place those cardboard chips.
Yes.
With some shaped plastic tokens.
Highly recommend this.
Yes.
This game can be a little addicting to play. Those pieces wear out because you end up playing
The cardboard pieces that wear out. And this one does because you played a lot. It's great. Maddie, our cousin, has the upgraded pieces and they are fantastic.
Yeah. This is one I've actually played with first. For mine, I used coin container that I put those chips in 20mm coin holder. And that worked out pretty good. However, I spent as much money on coin holders as it would have cost to get this upgrade from the Geek Store, which is far superior.
last suggestion is more towards just a regular board gamer. What's something that you should pick up? And it's mostly because I haven't had a chance to play it until just recently, and it's Gloomhaven. So they have Gloomhaven and Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion just came out this year. Pick them both up for $150. That's a killer deal. Awesome, well-designed game. It's been super expensive for so long for it to have to be this cheap just for $100. It'd be amazing to have it as a gift if you haven't had a chance to play it yet like I have.
Gloomhaven's great. Jaws of the Lion, which is a simplified version. Jaws of the Lion should be the rules more streamlined and the adventures more streamlined. Have you opened your copy?
I have opened it, but I have not played it.
So I haven't opened my copy yet either. Andy was counting the games that were on my shelf of shame and mocking me as he was counting them out loud. That's for next year's 15 by 1.
You need to put in your goals the shelf of shame.
That's what I did this year. I had 15 games that to pull off the shelf of shame. Pulled them off and already put a couple on the calling list. So several of them stayed. So excellent. Good suggestions, Logan.
One of my suggestions, when we talked about this game last week a little bit, well, Logan did, is Scarabia. We played this a few weeks ago, game night at my place. This game is a puzzle game. Everybody has the same board. Someone will arrange their board. You have 4 tiles, almost like a picture frame, and you have little rocks will go on your empty spaces. Everybody has the same tiles. They almost look like Tetris tiles. There's a deck of cards in the center of the table. Card will get flipped and will show a shape. And everybody has to take that shape and place it on their board. And the first shape has to cover one of the 4 center squares. And after that, you can put it wherever you want, but the piece you place has to touch another piece orthogonally. You can't overlap the board to the picture frame. You obviously can't cover up one of the mountains because your tile won't go there. There's little scarabs printed on the tiles. You're trying to enclose spaces between 1 or up to 4 squares. So there's squares on each of these tiles. Each scarab in that area that you close off is worth a number of points equal to the number of squares, the size of that enclosed space. So if I enclose a space that's 4 squares and I have 2 scarabs, each of those scarabs are going to be worth 2 points at the end of the game. The cards flip until every card is flipped, and you will have an opportunity to place every single tile that you have in front of you. Towards the end of the game, depending on how you've placed your tiles, you may not be able to place that tile. By the end of the game, you count up the points, and whoever has the highest score wins. Beauty part about this game, it's very simple. The game, when you buy it, it's 1 to 4 players, but for every copy that you have, you can almost turn it into a party game that's actually fun. Because every copy
That's actually fun.
Yeah, I picked up on that too.
I will accept that. Okay.
For every copy of the game you have, it just adds to the number of players. You have 3 copies of the game, you can have up to 12 players playing this game. Everybody can play at the same time, and adding players doesn't really add to the time. It plays in about 20 minutes to a half hour. It is a really enjoyable game. I've enjoyed the several times I've played it, and it's one that I would definitely give to and play with people that aren't necessarily gamers, because I think they would enjoy playing it.
Yeah, I agree. This is one that Richie and Andy both got at the same time. A couple of times when we've been together for Labor Day and different things where we would play a 8-player game. It's great, right? Because it's one of those games that you can have that fits a lot of players. It's something I think everybody enjoyed, and it's quick enough that even if somebody didn't enjoy it, it's not that long, right? It's a good game. I think it's a great idea for this. I'm going to mention, though, if you're looking for it, you've got to type it the right way. It's spelled just a little different than you might think. It's Scarabya. If you put an I in there, Google is not going to find it for you. At least every time they haven't found it. Just make sure you spell it right. But check it out. It's a good game.
$23 on Amazon right now. Another game that I've actually given as a gift to people that are not gamers is Dominion. The base game or Intrigue. I probably wouldn't go beyond that for people that are non-gamers. That is a game that's classic deck builder. Very good way to introduce somebody to a game that is a deck builder. The base game is $32 currently on Amazon. And to Logan's chagrin, I put Ticket to Ride on my list because he loves it.
I love both of those games you just mentioned.
That's true. You love Dominion, too. Ticket to Ride is how I got my daughter Amara into board gaming. That's her very first game that she's ever owned was Ticket to Ride, the United States version of it. I own the Europe version. I still enjoy playing that game. I've played it a lot, and I still enjoy playing it. It's very simple, and
it's had so many renditions made of. You're not alone in liking that game.
I wish this was available. I picked up the Ticket to Ride, the card game, and it's out of print. but it's a faster version of Ticket to Ride. Also an incredible amount of fun to play. I used to play it during my lunch break at work. Now, I kind of went more of games that we would give to non-gamers or people just starting out. Splendor. Very simple game. I actually have the app. I play it on my phone all the time. If I'm just waiting for food or whatever, I'll open up my app and I'll play a game of Splendor. Sentry was on my list as well.
Which version of Sentry? Any of them?
I have the Golem version of Sentry.
But there's several versions of
There are
Sentry.
several versions of Sentry. Easy game to learn, plays fairly quickly, just has some fun mechanics. That's a good gateway game. And that one's only $29 for the base Sentry game on Amazon. Actually, I have two others that I want to talk about. We've talked about this one before, Escape. When I thought of Escape, I thought of, okay, what games does my wife like?
It's a good indicator, right?
Yeah, I do not consider my wife a gamer at all, and she really enjoys Escape. It's fast, and which is one of her biggest complaints about board games, is they take so long. Well, it's 10 minutes.
Sabrina and my wife get along just fine.
Yeah, but it's always 10 minutes. Just the excitement of it, she really enjoys that game. I think for non-gamers, that is sometimes a big complaint, is how long it takes to get through a board game. Escape kind of makes it so they can actually get their feet wet and play a board game and not spend 3 hours doing it. And then finally, my sister-in-law just got married a few weeks ago in Texas. I found out that they consider themselves gamers. So I asked, well, what games do you guys like to play? She started throwing out Risk and Monopoly and realized that they have no idea what fun games are. So we bought them Dice Forge with the expansion.
It's a good gift to give.
They already consider themselves gamers. They have no idea what they're going to get into. Dice Forge is just such a good game. And once again, it's not a super complicated game.
Oh, it's so accessible.
I'm excited to hear from them, their thoughts on it. That's my list of good gift-giving games. I didn't go quite into as much depth as Logan did as far as to gamers. I kind of focused more on non-gamers, maybe trying to get more people into the hobby.
I think I ignored Nathan's instructions when I made my list.
We as gamers, sometimes we struggle with that, giving our non-gamers a game like Gloomhaven. Somebody gets a copy of Gloomhaven, no idea what to do with it. It's so overwhelming, they'll never play it. However, if you give somebody who is an experienced gamer, give somebody a gift like Gloomhaven, that becomes an amazing gift, right? If your spouse, a significant person in your life, you give them a copy of Gloomhaven, it becomes something that you can share bonding time to play together. For me, that's a big reason that I play games. It's not winning, it's about the experience. And so if you can have that positive experience, and if giving a game as complex as Gloomhaven enhances that relationship, great. That's a great suggestion. However, most of us as gamers, we go to that, right? This is an amazing game. We overwhelm our less gamery... Is that a word?
It is now.
It is now.
But at the same time, like, maybe this is a good guide if someone's trying to buy a board game what games to buy too. There's a lot of those types of people that just don't know. If you would turn your wife, and she's been around you a long time with this hobby, if you just turn her loose on the internet saying, hey, go buy a game that your husband would like, she would be so overwhelmed.
Years past, when my wife has ever bought games for me for Christmas, Brent would always buy the games. He would say, here are some games that Nathan would like. Mm-hmm. Because he knew what I had, he knew what I didn't have, and he knew what we were playing, and he knew what style of games that I liked. That was great for my wife to do that. For everybody, that's not an option. Some of you don't have Dave or Logan or an Andy who knows my gaming ability.
Preferences, what you already have, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's nice to have some friend that you can tag maybe to get that. It's tough to buy games for your gamer. Exactly like you said, Logan. If my wife went on the internet to try to buy a game that would be something I don't like Star Wars Monopoly or something like that.
Oh, that's what I got a couple of years ago for Christmas. Marvel's Monopoly. And the look on my face of, Monopoly. What? You like board games? Not Monopoly. Not my favorite.
And that's why we came up with the gift guide, right? It's to help people like us who are knee-deep into the hobby provide games to other people so those games want to be accessible. It also includes some ideas for those people who have a gamer in their life. You don't necessarily know what they have or what they own, so some suggestions for that. My first game, new to me this year, was one that I've had a ton of fun. We played it on Halloween, we played it with family, played it here with us, and every time I've played it, it's been a great success, and that is Camel Up. 1 to 6 player game. It doesn't add a lot of time when you add more players. The copy I have has the plastic pyramid.
Makes that game so much more fun.
It does. It adds
It really does.
an enhanced level of that game for sure. You go talking about metal components or upgrading components. So this is Camel Up's second edition. Came out in 2018. Just make sure that it has the plastic pyramid. The other version is going to work just fine, but the plastic pyramid is an enhancement.
I don't think I would like it as much.
I agree. It's on Amazon, $33. Great accessible game. Another one on my list that has been a surprising success. I've seen it several times. I look at it and I'm like, you know what? That's an interesting game. And last year at our New Year's Eve gathering, there was a group of people pulled this game off the table and started to play it. And I think they played it for 3.5 hours straight. And it's only like a 15-minute game. And they just played it over and over and over again. It's called Drop It. Have kind of a Connect 4 feel where you're dropping stuff down the top of the divider and dropping down 4 different colors. It goes up to 4 players, dropping down different color shapes, trying to score how high they are. So in the player frame, there's tiers that you're trying to breach, and you don't want to touch any of the same colors or any of the same shapes. Very simple game, very easily taught and played, and that is Drop It. $28 on Amazon. 2 others that my wife really, really enjoys. My wife and my oldest daughter will play these. That's Pretty Clever and Twice as Clever. And they're dice games where you're trying to establish, not necessarily patterns, but you're taking dice that you roll, applying them in different sections of your score sheet to try to get more points. Ton of fun there. Another one that we've had a ton of fun with, and it just came out with a new style, is a game called Time Bomb Evolution.
I am so excited that they got another printing of this out. Brent has been the only one that we've known that had a copy of it, and it is such a great game.
The new skin on it has more of a steampunk feel to it. Players who are terrorists and the other players are trying to defuse these bombs. So it's a hidden role information, trying to clip these cards, try to defuse the bombs. If you get so many of the same color bomb, they have effects that will hinder and kind of de-evolve the game. This game has been a ton of fun, and it has been an exceptional amount of fun after 1 a.m.
It's around the 2:30 a.m. is like when it's the peak amount of fun.
But it's fun anytime, but it's outright hilarious after 1 a.m. for sure. I would strongly suggest that game. I personally have bought 2 copies of it to combine them to add more players. It goes up to 6, and you can get about 10 players if you put 2 decks together. Another great one is Reef, building Coral Reef. It's a pattern building game where you're trying to match patterns. My wife loves this game. Very accessible for her. $39 on Amazon. Another one that's a little bit more on the complex side, still fairly accessible, Tiny Towns. Tiny Towns, it's a pattern building game where each player is building a city, putting buildings in their city to try to take up the most real estate and not run out of places and score points. It's an exceptional game. And then another one to suggest is any of the Unlock series. Puzzle games, kind of an escape room feel. My opinion of the several that I've played, the Unlock series has been the best. Not necessarily the best, but I think they're super enjoyable for the ease they are to play and the complexity that is in there. I mean, there's puzzles. You have to go through and solve that. Those Unlock series are great. And you can buy individual games for $15, or you can get larger boxes that include 3 different sets for $30. And those are some games that I suggest for more of those introductory players. One game that is out there, my last suggestion that I'm going to offer is Catan Starfarers. This is a remake of Starfarers of Catan. They've enhanced this. It takes that Catan game a lot of people are familiar with, kicks it up a notch. The ships, you shake your ship to determine how far you're going. The ship is great to determine your movement. You can add rockets, you can add lasers to it.
Yeah, just that aspect of it makes it enjoyable. Just the fact that you're physically
augmenting your ship. Yeah,
you're physically improving your ship. It's not just on paper or in the game itself, but you physically have a ship that you are adding stuff to. It's fun.
I really like this idea of Catan Starfarers. Settlers of Catan is one of those games that very far widespread, right? So a lot of non-gamers have played Settlers, and quite a few of them own it, and it's a game that they like. It's a little nudge. Hey, try a little more. Also, it's Starfarers, which is just great.
Yeah, just try a little bit more.
First one's free.
Andy's giving away a Dice Forge. Next thing you know, a year from now, his sister-in-law is going to be spending lots of money on board games for Christmas.
Yeah, maybe so. You know, you mentioned Tiny Towns. That's another game that my wife has enjoyed. I think that's a great suggestion. Like you say, it's a little bit more complex, But
but not too far out.
No, it's really not. She's really had a lot of fun with that game, and I love the fact that there's enough randomization of it. It makes it so you play differently every time.
What they've done more so lately is the how to play tutorials on YouTube comes a long ways to get non-players to sit down and play the games, because I think that's the most intimidating thing, is to read the rules and understand how to play the game. So for them to be able to sit down and watch a 15-minute video on YouTube about how to play makes all the difference.
I agree completely. I watch the YouTube videos. I think it's a lot of times faster than reading a big old rule book.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll watch a how to play it video and then go through and read the rules.
Yep.
For me, those rules just stick out better.
That's something that even if these games that, like Nathan was saying, maybe borderline, maybe it won't be as intimidating if they have an opportunity to watch those how to play videos that make it a little bit easier instead of just hearing so many things at once. Like our friend Everett, when we explain new games, he has this rule that he only explains 2 new things at a time because he thinks your brain can only process so much, which it's a great thing. Some games you just get so much information right at the beginning that you have no idea what's going on.
Not only that, is if you've given this game to someone who's a non-gamer and they look at the rule book, and even a smaller rule book is 20 pages long, and they think, oh my gosh, this is a complicated game. I don't want to play this. I'm not even going to bother. And it doesn't even get brought to the table. So that's a very good point. Being able to watch a video and realize that, you know what, this really isn't that difficult and it's really not that complex.
And even better, being available to play it with them.
Absolutely.
Right, absolutely.
Yep.
Lots of great advice so far. I kind of took this a little bit different direction as well. I'm kind of looking at it for getting gifts for the gamer in your life as well as new gamers.
So he rebelled as well against Nathan.
Yes. Not really. I also followed some of his other advice. One of the biggest things for me when you're getting a game for a gamer is know who you're buying for, right? Play with them so you know the types of games that they like. I've received gifts 10 plus years ago that are still in the wrap because they're just not games that I love. I really appreciate people know that I like games, and so they try to make that effort. If they know the types of games that I like, even better. One of the things, for example, for me that I like is I like new games. We talked about that a lot of times, right? If I'm receiving a game, I want a game that's new to me, but not only me, but also most of my gaming group. I want to contribute something new to them as well. Andy has Abomination. I don't need a copy of it to say, hey, look, Andy, let's play this, right? He's got it. That's a big thing for me. But some of the things that I thought of, and I hate to say this, but I think gift cards are a really good idea when it comes to this. In general, most of us, we look at gift cards as kind of a cheesy way out of doing anything. But if you want to kind of spice it up a little bit, add some treats and make it a basket, right? A game night basket or something like that.
Cheetos, hot wing coupons.
Yeah. All those things that will destroy the copy of the game.
Caramel corn. Yeah.
And to kind of throw in Nate's suggestion a minute ago of playing the game with them, put that in there too. Little calling card. I have to come play with you whenever you tell me. Boom. Some of the other things I thought of, but if you can still late pledge on Kickstarter, buy them Ice Dice.
That is a cool Kickstarter.
Go and get it. And on the gift card, I like the idea of online game services as gifts. Paid membership to Steam or Tabletopia, BoardGameArena.com. I think those are great ideas. If you're going to do a gift card, one of the things that I thought of, especially if it's for a new gamer and you're wanting to get them into gaming, get them a gift card specific to a board game site so that it's not Amazon gift card that I'm going to go and just get whatever.
That limits them down
Limit
to
it
a board game,
to
right?
a game, right? Something that's going to fit.
Or even a local board game store.
That was the other suggestion that I was going to say.
Andy was telling me about how he picked up Scarabia the first time was because Jamie at our local board game store actually said, hey, this is a great game, let me sit down and play it with you. And then his wife was like, you should buy this game.
Which is exactly how my cousin Richie bought the game. He sat down with them and played the game. They loved it too. The local game stores, number one, it's a great place to buy games just because you're supporting your local businesses.
The hobby and the local business.
But you also can have someone there to ask about games. That's a great idea, gift cards to local stores.
But some of the websites that I found gift cards on, CoolStuffInc.com, BoardGameCo.com, TopShelfGamer.com, NobleKnight.com, Boardlandia.com, MiniatureMarket.com. So there are a lot of options. The last thing that I wanted to point out was don't overlook accessories. We've talked already a little bit about some upgrades, but depending on your budget and what you're wanting to spend, there's a lot of different things to consider here. If your gamer is one that likes to haul games around, whether it's going to a convention, or just when we do game night, Andy comes over to Richie's or Richie comes over to Andy's. Generally, when Andy comes over to Richie's, he's taken like 3 or 4 trips out to the truck to bring games in. Get them one of those nice game bags. On the low end, if you don't have a very big budget, maybe get some card sleeves. Any gamer in your life would love some card sleeves for their games. On the high end, an amazing game gift. We talked a little bit about it already. A game topper. GameToppersLLC.com. So there's a lot of ideas. Games, accessories, upgrades.
Someone has a game topper, there's accessories for
There are accessories for your game
top.
toppers. Yes, absolutely.
And there's options of shirts. There's a lot of gaming themed shirts. Get a Meeple Nation.
Get a Meeple
tee.
Nation shirt.
Yeah.
Which are available on Amazon.
And hoodies. I love my Meeple Nation hoodie. So that concludes 2020 game giving suggestions. Dumped a lot of information. New gamers, less interested gamers, and even opportunities to excite your most dedicated gamer. Hopefully those suggestions were helpful to you. If you have any suggestions for us, please let us know. We're always looking for new stuff. Andy's always anxious to buy new stuff.
Unfortunately. Yes, that's true.
Let us know. At the conclusion here, I wanted to know, when I go around the table, and Dave, I'm going to start with you, if there was a game that you wanted for Christmas this year, what game would that be?
For me, there is one that I have actually been looking at for quite a while. It's called Cerebria, The Inside World. And that one just looks cool. Again, it fits what I'm looking for. It's new to me. It's one that nobody I know has, so it would be a new thing to bring and share. It's a cooperative game that just has a lot of uniqueness and a lot of new mechanics and things like that that I always like.
Logan, what do you think?
This is a hard question for me. We definitely get spoiled with the amount of games that we have an opportunity to play all the time, new games. The thing that I would want most for Christmas is somebody with their credit card and Kickstarter. Where we could just browse together and I'd be like, okay, you give me this. So it'll be like 2 Christmas presents. Thank you. And in a year and a half when it actually shows up, holy gosh, it came. It's Christmas again.
Holy gosh, is that an
It is now.
All right.
I agree with Logan. That's a difficult question. Typically, if I want a game, I just buy it.
That's my wife's worst complaint, to buy me gifts at any point. If there's something that's out there, if it's something really excites me, chances are, yeah, we already got it.
Funny thing is I find myself doing this every year where I'm holding back. Oh, I really want this game. Nope, Christmas. I gotta hold back. If I could get one game this year, it's getting my Kickstarter that I'm most excited for. I cannot wait for Merchant's Cove to show up.
That's something you've already purchased,
I
though.
know, but I want it for Christmas. That's one game I just cannot wait to get. As far as stuff that's out there, that's a good question. I usually, when my wife tells me, okay, pick out a game or two that you want for Christmas, I usually will look on Amazon or go to the game store and just peruse, and sometimes takes me a little while to find something that I'm really interested in and willing to hold off on and let her actually buy for me, and then actually wait till Christmas to open up.
Like, I already have Pandemic Legacy Season 0. That's a game that either my wife's giving me or I'm giving my wife for Christmas. We played Season 1, Season 2 together, but we'll see what she wants. But something that I think would be cool, I mean, we talked about it earlier, is back to Quacks of Quedlinburg. Those chips, even though I've spent my money on those coin holders, which is why I will never buy the upgraded set, because the next time I played that game, my wife that'd be the last time I ever played that game. Probably any game with her. To have already spent money on an upgrade and then to re-upgrade, she would not approve of that. And I necessarily wouldn't even approve of that. I think that's something that would be really cool. Played Max's copy. Those upgrades are pretty damn cool. Getting sleeves? Sleeves are always cool. I got a box full of random sleeves that I keep, but still always adding to that pile? Nothing wrong with that.
That would be an upgrade I would be interested in, the Quacks of Quedlinburg. My chips are getting pretty worn out. It's about time to get the upgrade. So that's our list of games that we would be interested in getting, and our list of our recommendations for gifts for 2020. Happy shopping if it's for yourself or for a loved one.
Happier shopping if it's for you.
Happier shopping if it's for you, and hopefully you can wait until Christmas.
That's the tough part, right?
It really is.
I don't know, like I'm still waiting for my one Kickstarter from like 3 years ago.
Yeah, but that's something different. If you're buying it for yourself and then trying to
hold off.
It's like a Christmas present from them. It's been 3.5 years. By the time it gets to me, I'm just going to be so shocked that it actually came.
You buy it for yourself and you have it hidden in the closet. You find yourself sneaking in there to peek at it.
Smell new games.
Until next time.
We'll see you in line buying some games.
In line,
I
not
was
this
gonna say,
year.
There you go.
We are so in sync on that.